So I have a YouTuber, he's been asking me for a while now how to hook up neons, and I guess he has some LED windshield washer nozzles. So first what you're going to want to do is change those out, your things, and then you're going to run, I'm sure they probably come with wire, but probably not long enough. You're going to want to run wire. You're going to want to run it down and over here. Now your ground, you're just going to want to screw it down, which is it's just going to be the black wire. They're probably just black and red. Or you can either just screw it into like the metal, or you could take off like that bolt back there, sand it down a little bit, and then, just so you have a good ground. And then you're going to run that wire down through a grommet. Usually there's two on cars. You're just going to run it down through a grommet and inside to wherever you want to. Now if you're hooking up a switch like on the driver's side, it'd probably be easiest to run your two wires down and inside through this grommet on this side. And then what you're going to want to do from there, you're not going to need two wires to go inside. So let's say you ground both of those LEDs to that bolt there. Then you run your positive wire inside to wherever you want your switch. Now what you're going to want to do is get some wire. It doesn't have to be too big because they're just LEDs. And you're only going to need one wire. You don't have to have positive and negative. You're going to want to get a fuse. You can get this kind of inline power fuse. One of these. They sell them at Advanced Auto. Pretty common. So then you're going to want to run just a single power wire like that down in through your grommet, and then run it across to wherever you're going to put your switches. My switches for my neons are right here, and mine have been rewired, and that's why they even have switches like this, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So you're going to want to get a switch. You're not going to need 3 switches if you're just doing your nozzles. You're going to run that power wire down through that grommet, across your dash, and over to where your switch is. And then you're going to hook one side of that switch to the one side of that wire to the one terminal on the switch, and then the wire that goes out to your nozzles is going to hook to the other terminal on the switch. So then when you turn on the light, or turn on the switch, your LEDs should turn on. When you turn them off, it should turn off. Now if you want to get fancy, you could hook them up with like a remote, like my alarm is on. So you can turn on and off your neons or your windshield nozzles with that. Or if you probably wouldn't want to do that, but yeah, you could hook it up with something like that. I also have this 4-channel one. You could hook it up with something like that. So you push that button and it turns them on. But anyways, that's how you would install those windshield washer nozzles. Now I'm going to talk about neons. On my truck, I have LED neons. I bought a kit. Now, if you buy a kit, they come with a little control box. And this plug goes to another plug, and all your neons plug into that. But anyways, this is how it comes. It's got on-off switch, color changing switch, pattern changes, and the speed. And it's got a little display that shows you what your truck looks like, what the neons are looking like at that point. So like when they're doing little chases, you can tell like what lights are on under the truck. I took this out because I wanted to hook them up so they would turn on when I opened my doors. But this thing worked alright. But for some reason it burnt out my blue LEDs. And this also came with a remote, so I could turn them on and off from outside the truck. So for something like this, all you'd have to do, I'll tell you how I did it. I had that box mounted up in the top of my thing here. I had a wire run down through that hole, and I cut another hole down there to run through. Then I found the power wires for this cigarette lighter, since it's not switched, and I just tapped into those. And when you're doing that, just be careful that you check your voltage, make sure you know which wire is positive, which one's negative, because I know with this cigarette lighter at least, the black wire is positive and the white wire is negative, or the red wire is negative. It's like wired backwards, it seems. And I burnt out something on it, I don't remember what. But it was just hook up positive and negative to that. And your neon should come with a inline fuse on this thing. On your positive wire should have a fuse. And these wires are of course longer when you get it. But that's how this works. And then you don't have to worry about putting any switches in. This just gets constant power. And when you want to turn on your neons, you hit the on button. Then you don't have to worry about wiring and switches, because this just gets fed with constant power. And when you want to turn on your neons, you hit the power button. You can change, make it so it kind of circles around the truck slowly. You can speed it up a little bit, make them go faster. Make them go from the front down the sides and to the back, and then come back this way. Whatever. Then it comes with a remote too, so you can, leave them on, turn them on as you're coming up to your vehicle. But the battery in the remote dies really fast, so you end up having to stand like right next to the truck to turn them on. But anyways, that's how that works. If anyone has any more questions about neons or anything, let me know.